just going to get out my notes here real quick. Okay, Richard, Rebecca, thank you so much for having me. Really appreciate that. Again, for those who don't know me, Michael McCullough. I currently work for a company that I founded, KMC MAG Group, and then the other company that we founded was KMC Solutions. Just quickly tell you about myself, about the company, some of the things that I believe in terms of doing business, some of the strategies that has helped us succeed, particularly in this business, and telling the why, not the what you do. The last slide will be about our CSR activities as well. So this is me, about 5 years old, giving free lemonade to the ladies, only to the ladies. So this is my first kind of entrepreneurial state. And this was in San Diego, California. My little brother there on the left. And it just kind of shows how far I've come, I guess, as a young leader, I guess. From 5 years old to now being the managing director of a real estate services company. About us. Greg Kittleson on the left, Amanda Carpo in the middle, myself on the right. I mean, these guys have all, Greg Kittleson, he's been here 10 years. Amanda Carpo is an attorney here in the country. Myself, I've been here 8+ years now. I personally went to school at Oregon State University, and the thing is, to be a leader or an entrepreneur, you don't have to go to the top school. Go to any school really if you just have that passion and drive to succeed. So again, none of us went to Stanford, although I worked at Stanford. None of us went to Harvard, although Amanda is quite bright. But that's kind of the lecture there. Our team currently we're currently about 130 or so in the country. That's our immediate team. In addition to the other services that we have, we're about 500 people in the Philippines right now. So it's grown quite a bit. It's a pretty decent sized organization, and just managing all the complexities involved with that is quite fun and challenging at the same time. Real quickly, some of the services that we do, I don't want to talk about this too much, but it's kind of a full service real estate services firm, property management, tenant rep, hopefully some landlord rep here in the future. And advisory, capital markets. We got a very nice transaction down in Cebu last year. Sold a building for $40 million. We're pretty happy about that. Real quickly, KMC Solutions. It's in terms of Philippine-owned companies, it's the largest workplace provider. We have 7 current locations, 2 new locations coming up. One of those is Cebu. I'll show you some renders there. And in Uptown Bonifacio. So we took 2 floors there, about 4,400 square meters. Overall, it's about 2,200 workstations, and that should grow to about 3,000 by the end of this year. We have some value-added services, which is recruitment and payroll. We've been in touch with some of you guys about offering those services as well. So these are our 6 current locations. Again, the photo of our team was taken at the rooftop of the Sun Life Center. It's the first LEED building in the Philippines. I myself, much like Carmi, kind of walk the talk. I think we're the only real estate company in the green building. We're registered with the LEED Green Building Council, with Birday, which is the local affiliate. We've actually built an office out of LEED, commercial interiors, LEED Gold Standard. I also walk to the office in these same shoes. I personally don't own a car, my wife does, and the company owns about 5 cars. So, but all of our cars are white. Why? Because they use less aircon. So, in our own little way, we try to do everything we can. Real quick, these are the renders. This is kind of our Cebu-styled service office. We kind of brought what we thought Cebu feels like a photo photo wall here. And then we've also brought in some air cleaning green wall features as well in the pantry area. So that's the first time we've ever done that, and we hope it stays alive. So we'll see. We'll see. So I guess the question here is, am I teaching him or is he teaching me? Hopefully, when you start, if you start a business, it's just you. And then one day you have to go out there and decide to hire somebody. That's probably one of your biggest steps. I mean, how many people are starting a company or entrepreneur? Anybody? 1, 2, 3, a few people? So, do you have any employees yet? You have 3. So you know the challenges, right? So, as you continue to hire and scale and grow, one day you're not going to have that face time, as much face time with those key staff or your staff. And I kind of found that number to be around 25. Like, the company got much more difficult to run by the time we got around 25 staff. And again, it's just communications and all that thing, those things happen. So, my notes here. Yeah, again, for me, he was actually showing me one of the things that we're working on. We've taken research kind of to the whole next level, particularly for real estate research. We have databases that are relational, that are mapped in GSIS maps. Pretty fun stuff if you're into research and real estate. So we've got some really nice software that we use and that we can customize and make all that happen. Real quick, people. So I'm going to talk about 4 things that were key elements to the success of our business. And number 1, here in the Philippines, it's always people. It's a challenge to hire, retain, recruit, mentor, train, and that's what's kind of that's the challenge. I mean, that's the people side of the business. Getting the right people on the bus, setting the KPIs. We spend a lot of our time on recruitment. We're using our networks. We use Facebook, we use LinkedIn to find new talent for our company. The other thing that I want to mention is that I personally had to go out and find people that were either smarter than me, older than me, had gray hair, and have done a lot of the things I had not done before. So I think finding a mentor, as Carmi mentioned, is really important. My mentors are private, so I don't have photos with them, but because they're also running other companies that sometimes can compete with us. So. But it's a great way to learn about either their business or reflect some of your questions from those guys. And if you are out there and you're one of those guys that has gray hair, find somebody that's younger than you, maybe my age, maybe younger than me, and talk to them about the upcoming technologies. And there's learning that can happen both ways here. So strategy. When we define our strategy, we call it the sandbox. And that's what do we want to do and where do we want to do it. And so we kind of said, look, Makati is a great place to do business. That's where all the corporate headquarters are for companies. We saw the port as a great area, particularly to do residential services in. So that's where we've actually located our office in 2012. We moved out to PGC at Sun Life. And we said, look, we want the port to be kind of our playground where we provide those services and offer, sell some of those products, particularly residential products. As entrepreneurs, you need to think about your products. Is it a service? Is it a product? Are there upsell opportunities? Is there recurring revenue streams that you can add to your business? Those recurring revenue streams really provide a great added value. What are you selling, to whom, to where? And do you know your profit per unit? And for us, we know, like for leasing a seat, we know exactly what our profit per unit is. And if you're starting a business or if you're working in a business, you need to know that. Is it a per square meter profit? Is it a per seat profit, like ourselves? The other thing, part of that we find that's really important with strategy is being off-site and using that time with your executive team to think about things, to go over scenarios. What happens if real estate prices slide 25%? So we go off-site and kind of, do some analysis on. We do some analysis on those kind of what-if situations. So cash. If you're starting a business, it's really hard to find. And it's king. So cash is really king in any business, but it's very, very important for a growing business that you don't grow broke. And that means every additional dollar in revenue, you need to borrow more money to get that. So we've really looked at some of the metrics of our businesses. Our business right now is doing about $11 million in revenue in 2014. It's a significant amount of money coming in and out every month. We have to have financial systems in place, financial control in place. We've had to upgrade our accounting systems. So managing that cash, hopefully we can generate that cash internally. So far we haven't had to take really any investment from anybody outside. We had some friends and family when we first started the business. Raising money, your sources to raise that money, we call it emotional money. That's people who love you. That's your friends and family. That's the best place to go to if you have to raise money. Hopefully they believe in you and they'll believe in your product and services there. And reoccurring revenue, that's kind of the new model for businesses, is that subscription-based business. Software as a service, any of those reoccurring revenue streams are very, very powerful. So execution for us, we need to make sure our team is aligned. And how do we do that? We do that through daily team meetings, at least about 5 minutes. We keep them very short and sweet. Weekly, we have weekly team meetings, depending on which team you're on. And again, as you get bigger, communication is really hard to scale with the company. And when you're small, you're 3 people, you can get everybody around the room and share those ideas. But what happens when you get to 30 or 300 or you have multiple locations, it's not quite as easy anymore. And this is one of the challenges for businesses that grow. Visible team performance, I've got that. I mean, does your team know how well your company is doing? We kind of have leaderboards where people's revenue is posted, and it keeps the team kind of competitive. But it's important that even if it's a private company, it's important that your team knows that the work that they're putting into it is actually getting them somewhere, or getting the company somewhere. And I want to leave you, I have a couple more slides, but I want to leave you with a quote from Simon Sinek. It's people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. And what you do simply proves what you believe. So when that comes to people, it's very, very tough to hire your first couple of employees. You have to sell them the business, you have to promise them that you're going to pay them payroll every month. And it's not easy. I mean, you're competing against global conglomerates like PLDT or Globe or other multinationals that can offer maybe career paths much, much bigger than yours. So we really had to sell them on the vision of what the company was trying to do and why we're trying to do it. And again, that goes to cash and your customers. People buy what you do, they buy why you do it, right? People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. And so I think us internally really want to offer high integrity real estate services and honest research reports, and that's what we're trying to sell, is that high level of integrity and transparency and honesty. So for my last slide, I want to talk about CSR. And again, it goes back down to people buy why you do it, not what you do. So it's important that we give back to the community as well. This was a partnership with Gauch Malinga. A little while ago, those are me, but we had a full team there. We had about 30 people. We had our top managers. We were all there. We took a day off. We helped lay some concrete, which was very physically draining in the heat, and paint some houses. And that was within the city because that's where our headquarters is. So we want to get back to the local cities. Our next venture here, 2015, will be Habitat for Humanity. We really kind of like the message. Obviously, we're in real estate. We like building things ourselves. So hopefully, we can get back there. Questions? I want to make this kind of semi-interactive. Any questions? Chris, you told me you were going to ask me something.
I'm just thinking, Mike, first of all, it's incredible what you've done for 8 years. It's pretty fantastic. I don't have a question, but I'd like to commend you as well. Mike and I kind of run the same industry to some extent.
Yeah, correct.
And there are times when Mike has had business come his way. He's been out of seats or he's been out of area. And he's given me a call and said, hey, Chris, you guys have any space? And I sent it over your way. I think that's pretty admirable because you're embracing competition to some extent, but you're also looking at the industry. So, well done, Mike.
Thank you. I guess I wear two hats very often. Thank you, Chris. You're right. I mean, one, there's actually so much business in the Philippines right now that there's enough to go around, obviously, for everybody. Again, I sell the Philippines first as a country to do business in. I try to sell the company and our people, I guess, second, or the product second. So, again, like what you mentioned, when we go abroad, sometimes the first experience with a Filipino is somebody who's had one of the hardest jobs in the world, which is being a mother or a yaya to a child and feeding families. So, sadly, that's kind of everybody's first experience with Filipinos. They haven't had the professionals like Cam, who went to school with my wife at UAP. So, any other questions, entrepreneurs? You must have a few questions.
Well, we'll have a longer question period in the panel session
sure.
later, Mike.
So that's it.
Personal